right, well, welcome everyone. It is time to start the September meeting for the local Alcohol and Drug Planning Committee. My name is Eric Geyer. I chair this meeting. I also work for Jackson County Community Justice. I'm excited about this agenda because people that inspire me daily, it's one of those things where people say, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I work with them. Like, you know what Oasis do? I get to do some of that too. So I always try and glom onto their good work because it's inspiring and it is just absolutely what we need in our community. It's one of those shining light programs that accepts people where they're at, loves them for the person they know they can be, and is just an incredible, empowering force in our community. So again, not to set this up with too much pressure, Carrie, Kristen, Jillian, and team, but I'm really excited to have you guys here today. And I think it's just what the doctor ordered. So I will turn it over to the Oasis Center for their presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for that very nice introduction. We really appreciated that. So we just wanted to, I'm Carrie Hecox, I'm the doctor at the clinic, and this is Kristen Johnson, our executive director. And I think we have, is Jill on the call too?
Yeah, we've got Jill, our peer, and Hillary, our nurse midwife, Sasha, our child and family services manager, and Renee Dodge, our patient services coordinator. We are so happy to be here sharing our clinic with you guys, so thank you. Our tagline is we're more than a clinic, a community, and we're co-located with the Addictions Recovery Center. Thank you so much to the ARC. We're at 1025 East Main Street. So when you're coming down Main Street, you pull in, we're on the back side and you can see the sign there. These were on a beautiful blue sky day with daffodils. This is our waiting room, and our regular hours are Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and Fridays from 8 to 2. And this is our mission, which is to transform the lives of families in recovery through integrated social and medical services. And what that means to us is that we look at the family as our patient. We're working with the patient, the parent, through all the stages of recovery, and then we're also working with the child and the parents' parenting capacity, and just really working to heal the whole family and to support them in their success with social supports, medical care, mental health care, and just through their whole journey. Yeah, we opened in 2019. And we're really a medical home for families that are affected by substance use disorders. We provide pediatric care, prenatal care, primary care services. We're really a family-centered agency, so we encourage parents to and caregivers to bring their children to their visits, which is, you know, kind of unusual for a medical clinic. But as you'll see in just a moment, we have a really fantastic family room and provide some great family support services. We all work together as a team to really integrate the care and work as a care team to provide all the services for families. And this all happens within non-stigmatizing, non-judgmental, really supportive environment, and working with families through all their stages of recovery. This is a look at our care team. And you can kind of see the natural flow of OB services to moves on over to pediatric services. We have behavioral health, and the case management services is supporting outreach and the continuity of care for patients. And then we've recently added peer support.
We're all going to crowd around.
It's a party in here.
It's easier. And here we all are.
It's the care team and care provider. And I'm going to pass this over to Sasha really quick, who is our child and family services manager, and she's going to give a quick overview of our family room.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to take a little time and talk about our family room and what an incredible, unique space that is that we have at Oasis. Not only do parents have the opportunity to have high quality child watch, as we call it, while they might be addressing medical or mental health concerns with our other staff. But it's really also a place that parents can come and interact with their children in a safe environment where they can play, and I can help them with any questions or concerns they might have about their child's behaviors, development, academics, things like that. And then we can go on to kind of dig into those topics a little more in depth. I've been fortunate enough to work with families and help with issues that they have navigating the public school system, to IEPs, IFSPs, potty training, tantrums, substance exposure, all of the above. So it's a really wonderful place to kind of bring families together and address multiple concerns that they might be having about their parenting and their child's development. And so with that, I will pass it back to you, Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much.
And Sasha is also able to do home visits and help people in their environment, which is really nice, particularly with more complex parenting challenges.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So if they need just services like for their kids, services that you can help them with, Sasha, can they be seen for that? Or can we refer them to that? Does that make sense?
Without being a patient here, you mean? Like they don't have to be here for primary care? We don't have to be there.
Could they? Yeah, exactly. Well,
We're not really set up for that yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, currently my services are available to patients who have already established care at Oasis.
So that's part of
Oh, you're breaking up, Alex. I can't really hear you.
That's what a lot of people have been asking. Is part of the little perks that the Oasis comes with, right? Well, can I have this without that? So this is good to know.
Yeah, and we hope that in the future, another part of my role that I'll be able to do is go into the community and offer trainings on child development, coaching parents, and also working with children and families who are experiencing substance use disorders. So that is kind of something that we're looking forward to in the future, is making those community connections where I can kind of get loaned out. So.
And if you have specific people you really think could benefit from Alex, just tell us.
Okay.
Just let us know. So we do medication-assisted treatment. We do a lot of buprenorphine. We're also able to do Sublocade for patients, which is the injectable once a month buprenorphine, which is a great option for a lot of people who really can't stay stable on their oral medications. We also do medication-assisted treatment for alcohol use disorder, Vivitrol, and other medications we use with that. We have the full range of primary care that we do here. We now have a pediatric nurse practitioner, so we can do full pediatric care as well. Hillary, who is our prenatal care provider. This is a program we're really building now, and we have 30 women in the program. Doing combined prenatal care, postnatal follow-up or postpartum follow-up, and combining that with a support for addictions treatment. We have a mental health therapist who is with us who can do either shorter sessions like integrated behavioral health or do ongoing mental health therapy, and also couples counseling, which is really great. That has been a barrier for a lot of patients as they're transitioning from their life in use to recovery, kind of getting to know each other again and really establishing good communication. So that's been really invaluable to have her on board. With care coordination, and our multidisciplinary team is for patients who have what we call high systems involvement. So they have involvement with community justice and self-sufficiency and child welfare. And that's a voluntary program for patients. It's based on the family court model, but the idea is to have all of your different services on the same page. So that group meets weekly to discuss patients with where they are sort of in their plan of care and progress. And then they meet with the patient and family once a month to review that. So this is just a little kind of schemata. We also have resources. We have a small clothing closet, food available, diapers, some basic needs for patients in the moment, small allotments of gift cards if people need it for gas or that sort of thing. And so I wanted to do just a little bit of kind of overview of our philosophy and some quotes and thoughts that have influenced me a lot in caring for people with addiction. So I'll just read this quote. The brain regions and neural processes that underlie addiction overlap extensively with those that support cognitive functions, including learning, memory, and reasoning. From a psychological and neurological perspective, addiction is a disorder of altered cognition. And I think that's something that's really important to keep in mind as we're working with people who are active in their use or who are in early recovery. They're not fully in their frontal lobe. And so some of the things that we ask them to do and the requirements that we have, they're not quite able to get there. And really, if we want to meet people where we're at, we have to be conscious of that and say, okay, what's this person capable of right now? And if they're not capable of more than that, I'm not going to ask them to do more than that. This is another, Bruce Perry has been very influential in my thinking. He's a child psychiatrist. But one of the things he talks about is that there's a neurosequential model to the brain. Basically, all the information you get from the outside world goes through your brainstem, your midbrain, your limbic system, before it reaches your thoughts. And one of his taglines is regulate, relate, reason. So I think one of the important things when we're dealing with people who are in crisis or who are heavy into their addiction is that if they're not regulated, if they're emotionally at a high pitch, we're not going to be able to do any of that cognitive planning. The first thing we have to do is to get that person feel like they're down a notch, they're regulated, and they're safe. Then we can start to do some of the planning. But without that, then, we're just kind of throwing words at them. And that's usually not very helpful. This is sort of another slide from Bruce Perry, but also talking about basically when people are dysregulated. And I think this is also when they're in their use. We talk about use putting us into our survival brain, that literally your brain can't think about the future. I think we all know this from either having struggled with addictions ourselves or working with people with addiction. That time frame of right now overrides anything, right? I'm going to get clean, but I'm doing it tomorrow. I swear to God, today is my last use. Tomorrow it's going to be different, right? Because they're so in the moment. So that's an important thing to think about when we're dealing with people. And that's one of the reasons why we really try and work people in on the same day when they're ready for help or get them care as soon as they get it, as they can. Because if they're in that moment when they can accept help, tomorrow might be different. So it's really important to respond to people where they're at. And then this is just, this is a model we use for our MDT about just how complicated it is for people in early recovery to manage all of the things on their plate. They've got their doctor's appointments. They don't have a car to get transportation. They have to sign up for self-sufficiency and find housing. And they're dealing with their child welfare worker and finding childcare. So it's really tough and confusing. And the more we can do to kind of help people break that down into bite-sized chunks that they can manage, the better off they are. And so that's one of the things with our Oasis Multidisciplinary Team is really trying to break things down to make it clear. What is that SMART goals? Whatever that acronym stands for. Somebody else probably knows. But basically like clear, obtainable goals that you can get to step by step. And that's one of the things we really try to work on because that's how people build self-confidence too. And I think as we know, you can't sustain recovery unless you have some faith in yourself. Yeah, Renee, you want to take over from this?
Hi, everybody. So right now on our multidisciplinary team, we have about 15 families. And with those 15 families, they're all signing on as they want to sign on. They're making the obtainable goals that they want to make for themselves. We kind of start out with an application process, and then the whole team goes over this application. And in the application, they're like writing down some of the goals that they want to accomplish, in the next 6 months. And we're helping them obtain the goals with them really doing the work, but they don't realize that they're the ones doing the work. And it's really nice. And I think part that they forgot to say on the multidisciplinary team is that we don't only have child welfare and community justice, we have the treatment providers, we have ARC and On Track as well on there, which has been a huge help with whether it's that they're struggling getting to their treatment appointment or they're struggling while they're in residential. We just kind of, as the team, we all get to talk about them every week and help come up with some solution bases for them in their scenario. We've had about 20 families, I think, graduated out of the multidisciplinary team since we opened it. And it's been pretty successful, and people hear more about it and they're really wanting to get involved with it. And I think that right now it's really a nice resource for them since community family court shut down, because it's a lot like community family court, excluding there's not a judge and you're not going to jail if you don't do something you're supposed to. So it's been a great opportunity for our participants, and it's nice because not everybody goes away at the same time. All of us kind of stagger out them getting out of their lives, and then they keep Dr. Hecox the whole time. So it's just been really wonderful coordination for the patients.
And Renee is our multidisciplinary team coordinator. Extraordinary. And I'm going to pass this on to Hillary Handelsman, who is our prenatal provider. The program that I've been talking about each month for the whole year is now happening, and Hillary is going to share some information about Nurture Oregon.
Thank you. I'm so happy to meet all of you. And it's great to be a part of the Oasis team. We're really excited about our prenatal program. I just want to give a little background on the Nurture Oregon title. You've maybe heard about programs up in Portland called Project Nurture. Project Nurture is a really successful integrated model at 3 sites up in Portland where they have integrated substance use treatment and prenatal care and provided that kind of wraparound support. And they've provided some funding for us to do basically a branch of that program here in Southern Oregon, and they're calling that Nurture Oregon. So there are different sites throughout Oregon that are trying to replicate some of the success of the Project Nurture model up in Portland. And we are doing that for the Southern Oregon community here. And it's really exciting to be able to see women find their prenatal home with us. I've done prenatal care in different, more traditional settings where their substance use kind of just takes, it's like number 5 on their problem list, right next to their eczema. It's just one of the things on their list. And I think that's a really difficult way to view a substance use disorder, because in their life, it's not just one of the side topics. When their use disorder becomes severe enough, it really takes center stage in what the focus is of the way their time is being spent, their money is being spent, their energy is being spent. It really takes the center stage in all of the stories, right? And so being able to place it at the center of their care has really created much more engagement than I've been able to see in any of the other prenatal care environments that I've worked in and supported women with substance use, because we're able to frame everything within the context of that being a safe topic on the table, like the lens we look through all the time. And it's been a really helpful way to create a feeling of safety inside of the walls of the building. So every family that is served here knows that they're safe to be very honest and open about their substance use and where they are with that. And I think that that has been a really special and unique thing for me here, in the level of honesty and openness that people are able to bring forward into their prenatal care work. So our goal is to engage at any stage that they're ready to engage in their pregnancy. And so we have women who, come in really early in care and women who come in very late. And the goal is just to try to meet them where they are and to meet as many of the needs as they're ready to work on. Jill is peer support, and I'm going to let her just talk a little bit about her role in this program, because Jill and I work really tightly together with every single prenatal patient, and we do our visits together. And instead of them just seeing me, just seeing a provider, they really get to interact with a team. And so let me let Jill share a little bit about the role of the peer in this work.
So I am peer support here at Oasis, and like Hillary said, I meet with all of the OB patients with her initially. As peer support, I kind of strive to just empower women by sharing my personal experience, not only with my addiction, but also with my personal experience with Oasis. I was a client here at Oasis, and I was 2 months pregnant with my son when I came in. And I think a lot of women just come in kind of nervous about mat therapy or, just making a big life change. And I'm living proof that this program works. And I think just being there with them is helpful. I try to stay in contact with these women on a daily basis. A lot of our pregnant women right now are out in the community. And so going to get them, bringing them to their appointments, making sure they have lunch every once in a while. And we also just created an action plan packet that kind of intertwines what DHS is kind of looking for on an individual basis, along with what their goals are and what their strengths are, and just working on that, like side by side, step by step, meeting them where they're at and walking that path with them.
Thanks, Jill.
Yeah.
It's been such an exciting thing to have such a strong peer presence in our visits, because the women really just relax into the comfort of knowing that somebody fully understands the struggle of this journey, and the lack of the lack of judgment is really becomes human, right? And we get to say, like, really, this is really a safe place. And we really are wanting to help you in practical and real ways all the way through. So Jill gets to go out and meet people where they are in the community. And whenever they're reaching out for help, she can physically go to them instead of them having to physically come to us. And that's made just such an impact. I'm really grateful for that partnership. And so it's been a really exciting start to the journey. As Carrie said, we have about 30 women that are somewhere in that pregnant or postpartum phase for our first 5 months of work in the program. And we're running groups that are just starting virtually tomorrow. We were doing groups in person for pregnancy and postpartum care, not for their care, but as just an adjunct to their care, to provide support and education and build healthy relationships around this time. And it was really fun to do it in person. And then with the COVID surge, we've needed to take a break, and now we're restarting virtually tomorrow. So we'll be offering prenatal postpartum groups and also mental health groups for women that are pregnant and parenting. And then Sasha will be doing a parenting group for women, for families that have children older than 3 months, all the way up to 18 years. So we're hoping to bring people into that virtual kind of room together and work on building community and support that way too. It builds a lot of momentum to be working on this with others. So it's very exciting. Are there any questions about the prenatal program or what we've shared so far today?
Do you have capacity to grow more, or are you reaching sort of a limit of how many folks you can treat?
No, I think we have lots of capacity. Our prenatal program has lots of room to grow. And one nice thing about our small-ish numbers is that we get to provide, long and quality visits. And I'm hoping we will just continue to be able to provide that even as our numbers grow, because often women come in, like Carrie was describing, when they're ready to change, we want to jump on that, and spend the time and put in the energy and the effort that same day to capture that moment of readiness. So we do try to put a lot of quality time and energy into each visit. Often prenatal care visits are like 10, 15, 20 minutes, and we typically spend an hour in a visit. And so we get to dig in deep into people's lives, their relationships, what they're really going through. And I hope we'll be able to maintain that quality even as our capacity expands. But we definitely have space. We're new. And so we hope that every woman in the area who has a substance use disorder and is pregnant will find us, because we think that we really are able to help them feel like they found a home to carry them through a super challenging and difficult transition time in their life.
Great.
So if anybody has any follow-up questions, feel free to let us know. This is our phone number for referrals, and then we're also on Unitas and Reliance for any referrals. And we can also do prenatal care meet and greets. Folks can come down and check us out. So if anybody wants to come down into our Oasis, we absolutely welcome you to, and just really appreciate the opportunity to.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you guys still only taking families for 6 and under, or how is that working now that you're expanding? Are you guys taking people across the board now? How is that working?
Yeah, thanks. That's a really great question. So our primary population is parents or pregnant women with substance use disorders who have a kiddo under the age of 6, but we also do see parents with substance use disorders and other folks. So if there's somebody who's interested, feel free to send a referral and we'll see if this is a good fit. But we do focus on that primary population just because of all the developmental opportunities and the really key point in children's lives to make an impact there. So thank you. That's a great question.
And you take all forms of insurance, including
Yes.
OHD? Great.
Great question. Yeah, so we do, and we also have a sliding fee scale and accept insurance.
Well, thank you all so much for being willing to come and present to us today. Tira Hubbard's on this call, so I'll embarrass her a little bit, but she used to talk about when she was working with women who were in the criminal justice system and she would refer them to a place in the community. It was so important for her that when she sent them somewhere, they were treated well and as people of value. And there's just no doubt that when a person walks into the door at Oasis, they're immediately treated with dignity, kindness, and as a person of value and worth. And I think that alone, in addition to the top-notch care, which is important, is one of the key things you guys do. So it's just so neat to see. And I'm really excited that our community has this. So
Thank you, Eric. That's definitely what we're trying to accomplish here.
So we will meet together in a month. If you would like to be an agenda presenter or you have ideas for presentations, please email myself or Stacy or Sarah Smith, and we would be happy to entertain those and see what we can do. This has always been about promoting and the ideas and work that get done in this community so that we can all be stronger together. And so I thank everybody for their work. And
hey, Eric, I just want to also plug, we do have some openings on this group. So if anybody who is a regular presenter or participant, if you're interested, please go online and fill out that application to be a member of the board if that's something you're interested in.
Great plug. Thanks, Stacy. Yes, there's space available. So for those who are wanting to do this work. All right. Well, we will conclude our meeting. I thank everyone for attending and participating, and have a good month.